ApologeticsIII, Lecture 21, it's hypnosis. I want to ask you, has any of you ever been hypnotized before? You know, like a stage hypnotist does that? No? Have you ever been to one of those where you've seen someone? Yeah, I remember in high school they did it. They did it in high school, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I don't remember really much about it. I just knew as a Christian, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. It was spooky to me. That's even spookier now. Online students, have you been hypnotized before? Well, I'd be praying about that time. And never, ever try and do such a thing again. And some might be saying, well, I've been hypnotized many times and I haven't had any problems at all.
I remember.
Yeah, I'm aware of. The word hypnosis is derived from the Greek word hypnos, meaning sleep. Hypnotism is a means of bringing on an artificial state of sleep to the participant, more accurately described as a state of reduced consciousness while one is awake. So it's in the realm of sleep, they think. They can't explain or understand sleep that well, scientists, doctors, physiologists, but it's in that type of stage. You know, like when you're starting to fall asleep and you're still awake. It even happens maybe when you're driving. You're reading a book and you're just kind of staring at it, but you're just like, don't know what's going on until a door slams and you're like, oh. But you could, thinking processes were going. It might be kind of like that. Frederick Mesmer, German physician, was one of the earliest proponents of hypnotism. His treatments by hypnotism were known as mesmerism. I've been mesmerized. Popularly believed to be based upon electricity and magnetism. It attracted a cultish and fashionable clientele in Paris. It is technically known as artificial somnambulism. Somnolence is sleeping, ambulism, some part of the brain, I think. Anywho, hypnosis claims to heal depression, cure asthma, even improve one's memory. It's routinely used for curing smoking addiction, motivating one to lose weight, and removing phobias such as fear of heights and fear of public speaking. Whole list of other things through hypnosis. And what's the deal with hypnosis? Is it just going into this kind of sleepy state? No, it's the statements that the hypnotist is making to you while you're in that state. The suggestions that you no longer like smoking. Smoking is disgusting. Whatever you want to say to the person. You will never smoke again. Now wake up. Hey. Yes, sir.
On the idiot box, I've seen a couple commercials for men and women that lost considerable weight by
By hypnosis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hypnosis.
And it may work. So I'm not saying hypnosis does not help a person, let's say, with the suggestions given, like you will lose weight, you will exercise every day, and that sort of thing. Because there is power in this. That's the danger. There's power in that suggestion. We don't understand, or scientists I don't think understand it that well. So let's look at some Bible verses, and I'll read one passage, you read a passage. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes were open hath said. He hath said, which heard the words of God, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. So I'm going to read the next.
On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance, and saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth.
And it came to pass that when I was coming again into Jerusalem, even while I prayed in the temple, I was in a trance, and saw him saying unto me, Make haste and get thee quickly out of Jerusalem, for they will not receive thy testimony concerning me. Sorry. So what do you think about these trances? Trances. His eyes were open. He was in a trance. What do you think of what was going on there? Well, they were in a trance. I can tell you that. Is a trance similar, do you think, to hypnotism?
Probably.
Was he awake, walking around, talking with people, and in a trance? No, a trance is, to me, you're not really, you're like asleep almost. And you have this vision.
But eyes open.
But the eyes were open, so you weren't asleep. So maybe very similar.
but it wasn't another man, another human giving suggestions.
Right.
It was from the Holy Spirit. It was
Right.
God, it was God doing it.
Right. So, all I can say, and I don't comment here, but the Bible does speak of it in a positive way. But maybe I'll say it later. But in case not, I will say it now. That the two from the New Testament, at least here, and there's a few others, is dealing with part of the sign gifts. A revelatory special thing happened here to give them more information. Once all of the Word of God was penned, that which is perfect has come, and there's no longer need that which is in part. And visions in the Bible, even the Old Testament, is revelation from God. I always revealed those things, and we don't have those today. I don't believe at all. So if you're having angels speaking to you, like we talked about, that was in a sermon I gave, or having visions, you can have dreams, but if you're having visions and God's speaking to you and you're thinking this is direct communication with you and God, I don't believe that's for today, and so probably it's of the devil. Now here's a section we're just going to read through. This is from a pro-hypnosis site, but it's Christian. And we're going to read what they say. I took excerpts from it. It took a lot of reading to see all they said. But, if you read this, and this is all you read, you kind of go, maybe it's okay. It is our desire that through, remember this is all from a Christian site, and I'm not pro-hypnosis at all. But it is our desire that through utilizing Christian hypnosis in the powerful prayer-like meditative state of hypnosis, our customers can facilitate rapid change and identify and release unresolved conflicts, resulting in major improvements in health, motivation, self-confidence, emotional stability, pain relief, creativity, performance levels, habit control, all these things. Spiritual strengthening. We strive to teach believers and non-believers about the true nature of hypnosis, that it is no different from any other tool that is available in this world, whatever that means. We educate people by exposing myths of hypnosis and encouraging scientific and spiritual research, because they know Christians are scared about this. Whereas there are Christian counselors available, there's not always a Christian hypnotist available, that's for sure. You ever meet one?
No.
I haven't either. This site provides an opportunity to have programs that do not include metaphysical beliefs with the hypnosis. So I think this is kind of like them saying, like if you're going to have a Christian yoga or Christian martial arts, somewhat similar, where you're going to take out all the bad stuff and just look at the stuff that you're looking for, like hypnosis. Where am I? This site provides okay. Our Christian hypnosis CDs and hypnotherapy CDs are the most unique programs on the internet. They combine hypnosis and prayer for maximum results. Blah, blah, blah. Hypnosis provides the experience that we need to put our conscious and subconscious minds directly in line with one another. You know what that means? No, I don't either.
Putting yourselves up to a devil.
Yeah, could be. They don't say that here, though. So this makes it so we feel what we really want to feel. Yeah. It is not, and this is spliced together, though, but it is not an unusual state of mind and may feel like you are not in a trance or in hypnosis. For most people, they simply feel very relaxed. It is a state of mind you enter in as you pass into sleep every night. It is a very comfortable state of mind. It's comfortable. During hypnosis, your mind is very open to visualizations and creating a rich sensory experience. It's very open, that's true. The more real the experience becomes in the subconscious mind during hypnosis, the more effect it will have on your waking behavior. Isn't that true about dreams? You have a very vivid dream, how it can affect you. For maybe you can even remember a dream from years ago that's like, I don't want to have that one again. So there's truth in what we're saying. With hypnosis, you can bypass the critical factor. The critical factor is what is preventing you from making the change you want to make. It is the subconscious. That's silly subconscious. Your will, your heart, your being. With hypnosis, we give you the suggestions you need to put your subconscious directly in line with the way you want to feel. So it's affecting the subconscious mind, not the conscious. So what do we know about the subconscious mind? I don't know nothing about it. And what do they know about it? Probably not much, and they're playing with it. Okie dokie. What this site is referring to as the subconscious is the limbic system of the brain. This is what causes us to have emotions. The good thing is that the limbic system affects all parts of our body. The amygdala takes in our experience, as part of the brain, and decides how the rest of the body will respond. But these are big sections of the brain, and so, okay, it's like saying, you know, your muscles control your strength of your body, you know, movement. Oh, great. Can you tell me anything more about the muscles? No, that's what we know. So they know some sections of the brain deal with this. This is why we can create virtually any desired feeling or programming through hypnosis. Really? How about undesired? Through hypnosis, we give ourselves an experience that causes our body to react in a positive way. Is it always positive? And in hypnosis, the experience is 100 times as powerful than in our waking state. I don't know how they got that, but it might be a very powerful experience nonetheless. Hypnosis is a normal state of mind, one which most people go in and out of every day, especially in college lecture class. I've been hypnotizing all of you. Online students, have you gone like that a little bit? So everyone goes into hypnosis. When you're watching a movie that you're engrossed in, it can happen. Driving down a long, monotonous road, yikes. Listening to music that captures a mood or engrosses you. Well, you're in a light stage of hypnosis. We experience hypnosis every day and don't even know it. When you're in a guided hypnotic trance session, or driving down the road in trance, okay, now look at this part. You have an observer self, a little self, which is an actual part of you that is always aware and watching out for you. I'm watching out for you. You're asleep, but I'm checking out this world. You know, what's going on? This observer self has been documented as a credible aspect of our mind that keeps us safe, even when asleep. Well, yeah, you're not dead. You're not in a comatose state when you're asleep. So there is brain functioning. I'm not reading anymore, but so there's just this self. So there's self. When you're sitting there drilling and when you're reading, just like you're not sleeping, but you're just like not paying attention anymore. And all of a sudden someone goes, "Hey!" And you go, "Oh." Okay, so the observer self heard the "hey" and went, "Hey, wake up, conscious system, go." So there's some truth to it, but it just sounds a little spooky, would you say?
Hokey.
Hokey, even? All right.
Well, I don't know what's coming, but it's kind of setting it up as the protector kind of self. So if you were hypnotized as you're driving down the road and you're kind of almost asleep, but if something happens, then it causes you to react kind of thing. It protects you.
Sure. And I wonder, well, how much so? Look up here for a moment. So you're driving down the road, it's daylight, let's say, and it's just those white lines. And you're just like fixed on that. And, well, you haven't crashed a car yet, but you're just like, you know how it is, you get that way sometimes, and you think you're asleep, and you're like, whoa! You weren't asleep, but you were getting into that trance state, maybe a hypnotic state. So it can happen, and that's what they talk about here, how you get to one. You have to keep going. I believe it happens. I believe you can even self-hypnotize yourself. It happens when you're driving. It definitely is happening when you're just kind of going off to sleep. There's these different levels where you're just kind of going, oh man, I was just half asleep or asleep. But this warning system that he's talking about, hey my friends, when I'm going like this down and all of a sudden the car's coming towards me, I don't necessarily see that. Because people crash. And they weren't necessarily asleep, but they were just in a trance. And other things can happen that are not desired, I would say. Let's go on, though. It's our primitive protector. During hypnosis, you can trust that your observer self will watch over you. Hello, I'm your observer self. This is not a guide or spiritual being, they say. Oh, thank you. I'll believe you then. I guess it's not then. During a hypnosis session, you would instantly get up and leave the room if it caught on fire. Even if it felt previously that your arms and legs were too heavy to move. So he says that. Well, have they ever tried that? See if it works? Maybe they have. I don't know. You cannot do anything in hypnosis against your will, they say.
That's what I thought they were building up.
Yeah, because they're trying to relieve the concerns.
Yeah.
Against your will. You are in no way more susceptible to evil spirits with any of the programs on my site than not. They are totally the opposite, in fact. The goal with Christian hypnosis is to maximize the potential within you. And align you more with God and His Spirit. Aligning balance. This allows us to create the good change you desire. For $150 a session. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. Be very wise in this, my friends. Let's go on a little bit more. We'll have a break in this because it's a longer one than normal. It's a 3 or
That is your
4.
refutation verse, is that correct?
What's that?
Is that a verse that
I put in.
that you put in there
Yeah,
to refute it? To refute it?
Well, to help, yeah, to help refute it, yes. There's more to say on this subject. Yes, sir.
That sentence in there just made me think of, didn't Satan say, I will be like the Most High?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and they want to align you more with God?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Well, even if all their intentions were good and nothing kind of on the occult side, it sounds a little on the occult, mystical side.
Yeah.
Let's say it was all this good stuff, prayer, fasting, and they're righteous people and all that. Still, this is the big concern as we go on. When you are in a trance-like state, hypnotized, my understanding is you're very open to suggestion. And they talk about here about being, if you've ever been high on drugs or really drunk, or practice TM, or these other mind-altering, altered consciousness causing things. This is in the same ballpark. And so you have all this opening up to whatever, suggestion. And I don't believe God, or God's holy angels, or the Holy Spirit, who's God, goes in and deals with people when they're like that. I don't believe it. I don't see any examples of that in Scripture for sure, and definitely not, well, no, I should say definitely, and I don't see it out in the world. But you sure do see it with people on the other side, on the evil spirit side. People that do drugs, practice TM, or have been hypnotized. It opens you up to another world. Yes, sir?
And just one more. I'm a sinner. You're a sinner. Would you really want a sinner like me giving your subconscious suggestions? I
might though. I'll play fair. I might if I had it written. You had it written down what you're going to tell me, and you had people around there to be witnesses to it. My family even. Okay, and that's what he's going to say to me. Yeah. Okay. I might. Maybe that's true. Just to have some guy who's a hypnotist, and you go to him. What happens if he goes? You're going to give me all your money? I said, if you're opposite gender, you're going to fall in love with me. And blah, blah, blah. Let's come on. Hypnosis is a mental state of heightened suggestibility characterized by trance-like sleep. There you go.
Skipped a paragraph.
Okay, let's go on again. You were hypnotized and didn't notice it. Or I was. This is a deadly mixture that can poison Christians and non-Christians alike. Terminology that sounds scientific or biblical causes many undiscerning believers to involve themselves in what is portrayed as supposedly neutral, innocent techniques. They're subtly seduced to be involved in counterfeit practices and experiences, and we hear about that in other areas too, like with the Bibles. Oh, it's about the same. Church is about the same. Believe in Jesus. It's about the same. It's all the same. No big deal. Just as the serpent seduced Eve, many are led away from a pure devotion to Christ and His Word. So keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Protect that heart of yours, your mind, your will, not your heartbeat. What they're going after here. Protect it. How can you protect it if you're not even awake and really aware? Because you're not, except for your observer self. I'm your observer self. It's not some kid movie. So this is the deadly mixture. We did that. Hypnosis is a mental state of heightened suggestibility characterized by trance-like sleep. The basis of hypnosis is the fixation of the subject's attention upon a gradually narrowing source of stimulation until he is attended upon only the directions of the hypnotist. And I've seen some of these on TV, maybe. I just don't like to watch them, but occasionally, and they can put them out in just like 10, 20 seconds. I mean, have they already gotten them that way, and then they just can do this thing, or this, the watch thing? You're going sleepy, blah, 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 watch the watch, watch the watch. You're under my control now. Really? That fast? I just wonder about all that. I can understand. Okay, let me watch this road, and the line's going by. It's going to be about 5 minutes probably before I get sleepy on that, but you're not going to just put a watch in front of me and have me all of a sudden like that. I don't think. Because you've been staring at me for a while, and I'm like a watch that never stops swinging and talking. And, oh, you have fallen asleep. Okay. Going on! This is variously achieved by repetition of instructions in a low-level voice, or having the subject fix his gaze upon a light in an otherwise dark room. The subject remembers nothing of what he did during the hypnotic period. Certain effects may be suggested to continue after the subject returns to consciousness, and these are called post-hypnotic suggestions. Okay. People who underwent hypnotism might graft onto their memories fantasies or suggestions deliberately or unwittingly communicated by the hypnotist, and that after hypnosis, the subject cannot differentiate between a true recollection and a fantasy. So I don't understand all that, but what I do understand of that, they have trouble discerning reality from non-reality afterwards. Did they really experience this then or not? Because it was put in their mind. It's like amnesia. But we have a little bit of recollection. You wonder, did that really happen? Did they really kill a bunch of people? You know, did I really have this thing happen? And you wonder, was it a dream? Let's read this verse, every other verse. There shall not be found among you any of them make a son or daughter to pass through the fire, that useth divination, or observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch.
Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer.
For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord, and because of these abominations the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee.
Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God.
And if you look it up and study it, enchanter and charmer are very similar to hypnotists or hypnotisms. It's not exactly the same, but it's in that realm. We need to understand that it is a very serious matter, this person says, you have to look at the credits, to entrust ourselves over to another person, even if we trust them.
Right.
The hypnotized person comes under the will and bidding of the hypnotizer. They're saying our will is essentially neutralized and can be suggested to believe and do whatever is asked by the hypnotizer. But that's not what the Christian Hypnosis.org folks say. They say, oh, you can never do anything against your will. Well, what happens if it is truly in your will that you want to keep on smoking? Or you don't have any desire to lose weight? In your will. You may consciously say, I want to, but... So I wonder about that. I don't buy it where you can't go against your will. I don't buy it because your will is more than just a subconscious. There's a conscious part of your will, being aware of what's going on. And it might be my will that I never want to have bad dreams again. So why do I have them? That's a good point, huh?
Well, there's a lot of things that we don't want to do that we end up doing anyway,
Yeah,
even when we're wide awake.
with the conscious, right. So, good points, good points. So I don't buy it. No, sir.
This is an adamant statement that hypnotists will always make. You can't be made to do anything against your will. And it's like, how have you tested that? What's your proof? How do you know that that's 100% the truth?
Yeah, I think you could prove it if someone was willing to do it with someone who knows how to do hypnotism. So let's prove that they're wrong. Okay, let's do that. And I think they could. But
For that person. Doesn't mean it's that way for the next person.
So what I mean is you can prove that they can get them to do something against their will. Like it might, because they've gotten them to do this. I read it on this other side and I didn't want to include it. I don't think I did. But he's a wicked guy, comedian type hypnotist. But he would get people up there and get them to start thinking that they're Chippendales. Okay, these guys, and they weren't Chippendales at all. They were these kind of fat old guys. But and they got them down. He stopped them before they totally undressed, but got them all the way down. What man would want to do such a thing? So that would be against your will. And even one time, the guy he didn't stop, and it just turned out to be real bad. A lady ran up there, and it was just she said, "I'll never do those again." But that was against someone's will. To be up on stage and just clucking like a chicken.
Yeah.
Would you want to do
Who
that?
wants to be an idiot?
Yeah, that's my will. I want to do that. Look like a total idiot.
Yeah.
So it's bogus. We proved it here. Let's go on. Our controls subjugated to the will of the hypnotizer can affect the mind as well as the body. Putting oneself in a hypnotic state is yielding oneself to a very vulnerable position. Like, go do some hits of acid this next week, guys. It's kind of like trip out. See what happens. I tripped out once, not intentionally. They told me it was something else. I thought it was just high-dose caffeine. But it was acid I took in my 20s. It was not good. No. It was horrible. You're basically having a nightmare in the awake state. Or close to that, as it kind of goes, whatever your mind does, and it just kind of goes around and you go, no, I don't want that. You get super paranoid. Oh, the paranoia. If you've ever been paranoid, it's way up there. At least for me. To where you're like, if you see people walking around like this, they're on something.
Well, that must have been hard because you didn't know ahead of time, too.
Well, I figured it out.
Oh.
Because I went and asked the guy, hey man, what'd you give me? I'm really paranoid. I said, dude. I went, oh, cool. But I was too paranoid to hit him. Anywho, some wonder as to whether or not a hypnotist can cause the subject to do something against his will. Many hypnotists claim that the will cannot be violated. However, we often often see people do whatever is asked of them, no matter how outrageous it is. Like clucking from it like a chicken to getting up and singing and dancing in front of strangers. Who would do that? Who would normally do that? In a hypnotic state, one can even be convinced that they're going to be murdered and might kill the other person in self-defense. I mean, you could set it up that way. And I don't know how that would play out in court of law, though. What actually happens during hypnosis is nothing new. It has been used for thousands of years by witch doctors and shaman spirit mediums alike. Hypnosis has always been a powerful tool of the occult, even if known by other names. 4 ways to get in touch with spiritual realm quickly is by, well, hypnosis, drugs, meditation, and what's called visualization. Now I'm thinking about my past, and I wasn't trying to do anything weird, but I think as a teenager or a young adult, I'd lay on the couch, and sometimes I got in a certain position with my legs up a bit, and the blood just how it was going in my head, and it kind of made me feel a little goofy. And then I started feeling like I was floating a bit. Now, I hadn't done drugs, and I wasn't trying to experiment or anything, but sometimes when I do that, I kind of like the feeling. I didn't want it to go too far, but it just kind of got weird, and then if I close my eyes and go, maybe I have fun now, kind of weird feelings. So I was starting to do maybe visualization there.
Or you were cutting the oxygen off to your brain.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that can be done too, but just enough to where you're controlled enough that you kind of got those weird feeling. I'm kind of upside down now. Ooh, I'm upside down. That's weird. I'm meeting my dead grandmother. Hi, grandmother. How are you? No, that didn't happen. But anytime we interfere and change the normal brain pattern, we bring ourselves into an altered state of consciousness, ASC. And if radical enough, in touch with the spiritual realm. Because cannot devils enter and give suggestions to you? Well, they sure did in the Bible. We can see about them causing things to happen, and we know that I know that I've had thoughts come in my mind that had to have been of the devil because the timing, the fears that I had, they were just totally irrational. Where do those come from? So I think they have access to our mind still, and surely they see you with your will down. They can come and mess with you. And I believe that's what happened to me when I was on acid. They messed with me. I remember one time I was really drunk, and I did something that put a bunch of scars in my leg, and a bunch of glass in my leg. I probably said it once before, but I won't say it again now because I'm embarrassed by it. But I just did something that was totally ridiculous. And people do that when they're high on drugs. Don't they? Like, some people will jump off a building and fly. I guess not. We'll take a break in just a moment, once I find out where I'm at. Well, it's a good time to take a break, since I can't find out where I'm at. So we'll be back after your little trance session.